Alafia, Alafia. Hope everybody had a good week. I wanted to talk to you, touch base on some things on the Mesa Blanca, which is called the White Table. The Mesa Blanca, I mean, there's so many people that talk about it. I'm just gonna jump into, give you a little history, then jump into it real quick. Just give you the hard core facts about it. So, in the Lucumí tradition or in the Cuban tradition, Mesa Blanca is not really practiced. Not everybody in the Lucumí tradition practice the Mesa Blanca. The Mesa Blanca comes from the Puerto Rican side of the island, where, as you know, Allan Kardec, he was one of the big influences on the Mesa Blanca and Puerto Rican spirituality, Espiritismo, you know, that's where the Mesa Blanca comes from in reality. But it's not a Lucumí tradition. Not all Ilays from the Lucumí tradition practice this. Okay, I know very good friends of mine who do not practice the Mesa Blanca. It doesn't, they don't practice that, and it's okay. It's okay. They don't practice it. So in reality, do you really need to practice La Mesa Blanca if you're doing the Lucumí tradition? No, you really don't, because not all of them practice that, but it did travel to Cuba, and you see a lot of it, and you see some. I don't know if you see a lot of it, but you see some of it is practiced in Cuba. Now in New York City, yeah, you know, in the early '90s, yeah, everybody was practicing. I remember my dad, going to Mesa Blancas, and I had to sit there, and I was probably like 8 or 10 years old, and it was just so boring. Like, a group of people, they were just meditating for me, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, I, but it was a big thing in the '90s. Mesa Blanca. Every Fridays there used to be a Mesa Blanca. It was free. You know, they didn't charge. No, they didn't charge. The only thing that was good about it, be honest with you, was the food. Like, they fed you good food, not crazy, not boring food. It was good food. So that was a big thing in the early '90s that I know of, as growing up in this tradition in New York City. Mesa Blanca was very big. But enough with the history. Let's get to the good part. So Mesa Blanca. Mesa Blanca, you already know what it is. Either 9 cups or 7 cups, glass of water, white table, and it's the ancestors' place in the Espiritismo world. This is just spiritual. This has nothing to do in reality with the Lucumí tradition. They just infused it, into the practice. But again, that's what it is. So the people who are practicing the spiritual side of the ancestors, meaning you don't have an opaiku, and you're not doing the animal sacrifice or the animal ceremonies. You're not doing that. You're just doing a white table, 9 glasses or 7 glasses around, and one in the middle, right? Okay. A lot of people, tend to have a problem with meditation. Meditation is a very big thing. It's one of the key points. You need to meditate, and a lot of people's, you got parents or your elders or whatever say you need to sit down and meditate. That could be hard for some people. The meditation has to be taught. There's some people who click on it to like this, but even some people need some guidance. They still need guidance. So my thing is, if you're going to do a Mesa Blanca, do you really need elders? No, you don't. But you should have someone who's knowledgeable about it and help you set it up. Yes, you should. because that person is teaching you how to do it. There's some people that, don't have Elay and they put it up and hey, it's fine. It works. But the thing is, when I do it, what happens is, like when my godchildren want, they come into my lay and they got to get a Mesa Blanca. I mean, they got to get a white table and a Mesa Blanca for altar shrine, you know, for the tradition. I tend to go to their house. First thing I do, I cleanse their house with certain elements depending on their nationality. I don't use frankincense all the time. I don't use Palo Santo all the time. I don't use sage all the time. I don't use holy water all the time. You know, I have to go inside the house and I have to investigate, look around, harness my power, and see what egg wounds of theirs or which ancestors of theirs, what do they take, and if I have it. But 9 out of 10 times, I basically, already know about their egg wounds because my egg wounds whisper in their ears. So usually I go to the home, I cleanse the home. Once I cleanse the home, I set up the bovada. I show them how to do the bovada. And then I sit down with them and I have a one-on-one session, meaning I teach them how to talk to the bova, how to salute the bovada, and how to meditate. That's one of the things that I do for people who come to Maile. But then I also, for my godchildren or future godchildren who don't have a place to practice, I usually like to do it in my garage where all my egg wounds are. And yes, my egg wounds are in its own because of the situation where I live, confinement, the orishas and the egg wounds are separated. They all don't live in one room technically, so the garage is technically a room. So I usually have what I do is I do a regular small table, one glass of water, and one candle, and I teach them to meditate. And I have this session with them for at least 3 or 4 times so they get used to it. And once they get used to it, then they can do it on their own. And do I charge them for the Mesa Blanca? No. For the meditation? No, I don't charge my godchildren that. My godmother didn't charge me that, and I don't. So that's one of the things I do for my godchildren. I want them to meditate. So, and I'm not gonna charge them for something that, that's not how I do it. Other people do things differently. That's on them. Anyway, so the reason why I do it in my garage the first time and the second time and the third time is because my egg wounds are already used to that. My egg wounds for 10 plus years I've been doing it. So my egg wounds have the energy and I don't want to say they're powerful, but they have the energy already sustained. They're already used to it. So it's like when my godchildren come and we practice the one-on-one session, my egg wound will pick up on theirs, or my egg wound will call upon theirs, or pull them, like literally pull them close because my egg wounds already developed. You understand? They've been through this process for over 10 years. They're used to it. They get to a point where they become elevated. You understand what I'm saying? They're already taught things and they already know things. So that's one of the tricks that I do is I usually have a one-on-one session in my home just because my home already has the energy already stable. So when they come and they practice and they sit down, they practice, and my egg wounds will pull their egg wound. And then they will get used to their egg wounds, talking to them, sending them, giving them visions and stuff. Sometimes my godchildren, they already came, like I want to say all my godchildren already came with some type of spirituality. I really didn't have to do that much. It maybe took like maybe 2 sessions, 3 sessions just to teach them the foundations. but they clicked on like that. They was already spiritual before they came to my house. They was already practicing some type of spirituality, so it was easy for them to practice it. But if you're setting up your bobara, like I tell them, you want to pick a specific time or a specific day where you feel the strongest. Not everybody feels the strongest. I know in the Lukumi tradition, usually I think it's a Monday. A Monday, I think it is, that they practice the bovada, or they practice the egun. I don't give a specific day because all eguns are different. And what I mean by different is not all the ancestors worked or had that same job or had that same lifestyle. So you have to pick, you have to pick, in reality, you have to pick the day and the time that you feel that you're the strongest. I have God children who wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning before they go to work. They, they practice on their bovra, let's say once a week, let's say on a Wednesday. And at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, before they go to work, they practice their bovra. They sit down, they meditate, and they learn that at that time, at 4 o'clock in the morning, that's when their egun is talking to them. For me, it's a different day and it's a different time. I don't talk to my egun, those times. I really don't. I have my own times when I talk to my own egun, and I've been doing that for years. That they got used to it because of my schedule because it was reality because of my schedule. But some way somehow it just fell right in. So at a specific day and a specific time, I would at least take like 10 minutes. You shouldn't really do too much. 15 minutes is good. If you want to go for an hour, that's the tops. But 15 minutes to an hour, that's what you want to do. I know it's hard because it's like, how do I practice? Like, if you've never done meditation before, how do you practice? And the reason why it's hard for some people is because some people, right, they get too caught up with the world, like right now, the job. A lot of people getting laid off. Kids are home from school. Car payments are not getting paid. Rent is not getting paid. There's a lot of stress right now. And when we get too connected to this world, we tend to drift away from the spiritual world. So it's usually very hard because it's like, as soon as you wake up, your first thought is not really meditation. Your first thought is, you want a coffee or you want tea or you want something. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's you have to learn how to disconnect yourself from the world. This is do breathing exercise. You breathe in through the nose, deep breath, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. When you get that done, the breathing exercise, learn to focus right here. Right here. This is where the spiritual eye is supposed to be. Once you focus your eyes like that, and you learn the breathing technique, then you'll be able to drift. If you think about it, when you sleep, right? You know how you astral project? It's because your body is relaxed, because your body is breathing. In reality, your body is breathing, but you're so relaxed and you're so not thinking about the world that yet you go off to a dream state, or you can astral project, or you can go wherever you want to go. Think about it. In reality, that's exactly what happens to you. But it's hard to do it when you're sitting on a table versus you lying on your bed. Those are two different things. It's not that easy. That's why you need a teacher to teach you that. To sit down, have a one-on-one sessions. My sessions are usually an hour long. The first time is probably a half an hour. Second time is an hour, and we just keep going and going and going and going. And that's what I really want to talk to you about was you know about the Mesa Blanca, the Bobra, the white table, of how to do things. Usually, like I said, just start off with one glass of water and a candle and a white table, white cloth. That's it. You don't need nothing fancy. You don't need, a cross or a Bible or pictures of, whoever, you know, because your ancestors know that you're calling them. But the foundation is to have one cup and one glass of water and one candle. That's it. That's all the elements you need. If you cannot do that, then how you gonna deal with 7 or 9? You know what the cups represent? The cups represent your ancestors, or the cups could represent your spirit guides. You know, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Do the basics. The basics is what I said. And you sit down and you learn to breathe. Breathe in through your nose. Deep breath. Slowly out. And while you're doing that, you want to focus on this point right here. And you're doing it and doing it. And you do it constantly. It will click like that. If you're not, on the spiritual side, if you haven't been practicing. Now, if you're practicing on the spiritual side, before the Bogota, you were spiritual, and you still are spiritual, and you maintain that spirituality by doing, either, let me see, either crystals or chemet or anything spiritual, You've been practicing spirituality, period. If you do the Bogota system, it will turn on like that. It's all about breathing and talking to your ancestors. Later on, if you decide you're comfortable and you've mastered the basics, right? Then you go start off with 9 cups. Some people say start off with 9, some people say start off with 7. 7 or 9, whatever you decide. But some people say start off with 9. And when you start off with the 9, you can add your ancestors' names or their photos. You can add whatever elements they liked. If some were Christian, you could put a little pocket, but excuse me, you could put a little pocket Bible. You don't need a big one because the words are still there. It's only to represent if you're, let's say, if your ancestors were Muslim. You could put, a little Muslim prayer there. If they were Hindu, you could put a small prayer there. You could put anything on the Bogota that is spiritual to represent your ancestors if you want later on. But what I'm saying right now is just to keep it plain and simple and just get straight to the point. 1 glass of water, right? Clear glass. It has to be clear glass with water and 1 candle and a white cloth. That's it. That's all you need for the Bogota. It's not really that even hard. But once you do that, you should be able to connect. And the thing is to always test. Testing meaning that if you've been doing this for months and you still can't read somebody, then you're doing something wrong. Practicing the Bogota, it's one of those things that's supposed to elevate you. And one thing I've noticed is that when I used to practice, a lot of things from my friends, like my spirits would tell me things about my friends, or they would tell me things about somebody at my job, or whatever the case was. I was able to connect, even to, dating. Yeah, even to dating. Yeah, what I used to do, I used to be good at the Bogota system. I used to be good. Well, I'm still good, but I used to go, because I was a newbie, I used to practice that a lot. And I used to go on dates, and first thing I do is just talk to the girl, just sit down, talk, let her eat something, relax, calm, and just have a conversation with her. And when I had a conversation with her, she didn't even know that I'm trying to read her. I'm trying to figure out things about her. I didn't get caught up in the beauty. That wasn't my thing. I was trying to test it. That was the only way that I found it, that I found testable. Basically testing my spirituality on my level. Trying to figure out who can I focus on. And I figured for myself that, going on dates when you're young, I was like in my early 20s, just going on dates, and that's what young men do. They focus on women. So I was like, wait, hold on. I focus on women a lot. Let me try it out. Let me just go have a date, which cost $20, $30 back then, and focus, try to read her. You understand? Try to see where her mind is at, if she clicks with me, if she doesn't. And that helped me a lot. That helped me a lot. So now when I see people, for me it's just a light on switch. If I talk to you one on one, I'm listening to you, but then I'm also reading you at the same time. It's a light switch that I can turn on. It's just one of those things. You get used to it after so many years of doing it. You just get used to it. So yeah, so just do that, and everything should be okay. So take care. Ashe or dabo. Peace.